I was running late, traffic had been terrible, and I was supposed to be at James's parents' house an hour ago for his birthday dinner. But I had a surprise, a custom cake I'd spent all morning decorating. 3 layers, his favorite flavors, with a design I'd worked on for weeks. I parked in their driveway and grabbed the cake from the passenger seat. The front door was unlocked, like always. The Harringtons were that kind of family. Big house, old money, always hosting, always welcoming. Or so I thought. I walked in quietly, not wanting to ruin the surprise. I could hear voices coming from the kitchen. Laughter. James's whole family must have already arrived. I was about to call out when I heard my name. I still can't believe James is marrying Sarah. That was his mother, Linda. Her voice had that particular tone, the one she used when she was being catty at her garden club meetings. I froze in the hallway. I know, right? That was his sister, Caroline. She's so ordinary, like, she's nice and everything, but she's not exactly what I pictured for James. More laughter. My hands started shaking. The cake felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. What does he even see in her? Linda continued. She's not particularly beautiful, not particularly interesting. She works in event planning, hardly a prestigious career. At least she comes from money, James's father, Robert, chimed in. That trust fund her grandfather left her is probably the only reason this is happening. James isn't stupid. They all laughed. Even Caroline's husband, who I'd always thought was nice. But the worst part? The absolute worst part? James was there. I could hear him. He was in that kitchen. And he said nothing. Not one word in my defense. Not one, hey, that's my fiancé you're talking about. Nothing. Instead, I heard him chuckle. Actually chuckle. Come on, guys, he finally said. But his tone wasn't defensive. It was amused. Sarah's not that bad. Not that bad, Caroline repeated. Wow, what a ringing endorsement. Are you going to put that in your vows? More laughter. I mean, she's stable, James continued. She's reliable. She'll be a good wife, a good mother. She's not going to cause drama or embarrass me at work events. That's worth something. My vision blurred. So you're settling, Linda said flatly. A pause. Then James sighed. I guess you could say that. But everyone settles eventually, right? You find someone who checks enough boxes and you make it work. I was one of his boxes, something to check off, stable, reliable, not embarrassing. I give it 2 years, Caroline said. 2 years before he realizes what he gave up and starts looking elsewhere. Caroline, Linda scolded, but she was laughing. What? I'm just being honest. Remember Melissa? Now that was a woman worthy of our James, beautiful, accomplished, from a great family. Melissa was also cheating on me, James interrupted. Well, yes, but at least she had style while doing it, Caroline shot back. They all laughed again. Like my entire existence was a joke, like the woman James was supposed to marry in 4 months was just a punchline. I looked down at the cake in my hands, the cake I'd spent hours on, for him, for this family, for people who thought I was ordinary and boring and not good enough. I walked into the kitchen. They all froze when they saw me. The laughter died instantly. Sarah! James stood up, his face going pale. You're here! I thought you were coming at 7. I didn't say anything, just walked past all of them and set the cake on the counter, carefully, gently, even though every part of me wanted to throw it against the wall. Sarah, how long have you been? Linda started. Long enough, I said quietly. I took off my engagement ring, the 2-carat diamond James had proposed with on a beach in Maui, the ring I'd been wearing for 8 months, the ring I'd shown off to everyone, so proud, so happy. I placed it on the counter next to the cake. Sarah, wait. James reached for me. I stepped back. Don't! You don't understand. We were just joking around. Were you joking when you said you were settling? I asked. My voice was calm. Too calm. Were you joking when you said I check enough boxes? When you agreed that I'm ordinary and not particularly beautiful or interesting? He opened his mouth, closed it, had no answer. I looked at his family. Linda had the decency to look ashamed. Robert was staring at his drink. Carolyn looked defiant, like I was overreacting. I hope you enjoy the cake, I said. It's red velvet, James's favorite. Then I walked out. James followed me to my car. Sarah, please, let's talk about this. They didn't mean it. But you did, I said, unlocking my door. You meant every word. You think I'm ordinary. You think you're settling. You think I'm just stable and reliable and good enough for now. That's not... It is. I interrupted. And you know what? You're right. I am ordinary. I'm not some sophisticated socialite like your ex-girlfriend. I'm just a regular person with a regular job who loved you enough to overlook how your family treats me, loved you enough to plan a life with you. I love you too. No, you don't, I said, getting in my car. You love the idea of me, the safe choice, the one who won't cause problems. But I'm done being someone's safe choice. I drove away, watched him get smaller in my rearview mirror. When I got home, I called my best friend Maya. I need you to come over, I said, and bring wine. She was there in 20 minutes. I told her everything. What are you going to do? She asked after I finished. I'm going to cancel the wedding. Are you sure? Maybe you should sleep on it. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. That night, I didn't sleep. I made lists, called vendors, sent emails. By sunrise, I'd canceled everything. The venue, the caterer, the photographer, the florist, everything. The wedding planner was shocked. But the wedding is in 4 months. You'll lose your deposits. I don't care, I said. Cancel it all. I sent one group text to my bridesmaids. Wedding is off. I'll explain later. Please don't contact James or his family. Then I blocked James on everything, his whole family too. Phone, social media, email, all of it. My phone started ringing immediately. James, his mother, Caroline, over and over. I turned it off. For 3 days, I didn't answer any calls, didn't respond to texts, just existed in this weird bubble of numbness. On the 4th day, James showed up at my apartment. I didn't let him in. Sarah, please, he shouted through the door. We need to talk. You can't just cancel our wedding and not tell me why. I heard everything, I called back. That's why. We were just talking. Families talk. We didn't mean anything by it. You called me ordinary, James. You said you were settling. You let your family mock me and you said nothing. You defended nothing. You are nothing. Silence. I'm sorry, he finally said. I'm so sorry. I was weak. I should have defended you. You should have loved me, I interrupted. But you didn't. Not really. And I deserve someone who does. I do love you. You love that I'm stable. You love that I won't embarrass you. But you don't love me. And I'm not going to marry someone who sees me as good enough instead of more than enough. He stayed outside my door for 2 hours, begging, pleading, promising to change. I didn't open the door. Eventually, he left. His mother tried next, showed up with flowers and tears. Sarah, please, James is devastated. We're all devastated. We were wrong, so wrong. Please give us another chance. Did James send you? I asked through the intercom. We all want you back in the family. That's not what I asked. Did James send you, or did you come? Because you're worried about what people will say when they find out the wedding is canceled. She hesitated too long. That's what I thought, I said. Please leave. The calls and visits continued for 2 weeks. Then they stopped. I threw myself into work. My event planning company had been doing well, but I'd been distracted by wedding planning. Now I had nothing but time and energy. I took on bigger clients, planned elaborate corporate events, networked like crazy. Within 3 months, I doubled my revenue and hired 2 assistants. I also started therapy. Worked through the betrayal, the self-doubt, the voice in my head that wondered if they were right, if I was ordinary, if I wasn't good enough. My therapist helped me see that their opinions said everything about them and nothing about me. You're not ordinary, she said. You're grounded, real, authentic. Those aren't flaws. Those are strengths. Slowly, I started to believe her. 6 months after I walked out of the Harrington house, Maya called me with news. You're not going to believe this, she said. James is engaged. My heart stopped. What? Yeah, to some woman named Victoria. Apparently they met 3 months ago. It's all over social media. I looked her up. Victoria Chen. Gorgeous, polished, designer clothes, art gallery owner, exactly the kind of woman the Harringtons would approve of. It stung. I won't lie. Even though I didn't want James anymore, it hurt to be replaced so quickly. Are you okay? Maya asked. Yeah, I said. I think I am. If he can move on that fast, then he never really loved me, which means I made the right choice. Damn right you did. 2 weeks later, I got an email. It was from a wedding planner I'd worked with before. She had a high-profile client getting married and wanted to hire my company to design and coordinate the reception centerpieces. Big budget, great exposure. I almost said no. I'd been avoiding weddings since my own fell apart, but this was business, and I needed to prove to myself that I could do this. I said yes. The initial meeting was at a coffee shop downtown, the planner, the bride, and the bride's mother. I walked in with my portfolio and my game face on, and then I saw who the bride was. Victoria Chen, James's new fiancée. She had no idea who I was. Why would she? James probably never mentioned me. "Sarah, thanks so much for meeting with us," the wedding planner said. "Victoria, this is Sarah Mitchell, owner of Mitchell Events. She's the best in the business." Victoria smiled warmly. "It's so nice to meet you. We've heard amazing things." I shook her hand, smiled back. "Thank you. Congratulations on your engagement." "Thank you. I'm so excited. James is wonderful. I'm the luckiest woman alive." The irony was not lost on me. We spent an hour discussing her vision. She wanted something elegant, but not stuffy. Modern, but timeless. Expensive, but not tacky. Basically, she wanted everything the Harringtons would approve of. "I'll put together some concepts and send them over," I said. "When's the wedding?" 4 months from now, Victoria said. "I know it's soon, but when you know, right?" 4 months. The same timeline I'd had. "Right," I agreed. After the meeting, I sat in my car and processed. I could walk away, refer them to another planner, pretend I never saw that email, or I could do the job, prove to myself that I'd moved on, that I was professional, that I was thriving. I chose to do the job. Over the next few months, I worked closely with Victoria. She was actually lovely, kind, thoughtful, excited about her wedding in a genuine way. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Because every time we met, she'd mention James, how perfect he was, how his family adored her, how she finally felt like she belonged somewhere, everything I'd once felt, everything I'd lost. But I smiled, nodded, designed the most beautiful centerpieces I'd ever created. The wedding day arrived. I showed up early with my team to set up. The venue was stunning, the Harrington family's country club, of course. As we set up, I saw them. Linda, Robert, Caroline, James. They didn't see me. I was just another vendor. The ceremony was beautiful. Victoria looked stunning. James looked happy. And I felt nothing. Not jealousy, not anger, not sadness, just nothing. The reception started. Guests admired the centerpieces, complimented the design. Everything was perfect. Then Linda approached me. "Excuse me, are you the coordinator?" she asked. She still didn't recognize me. "I am," I said. "These centerpieces are absolutely stunning. Who designed them?" "I did," I said. "Sarah Mitchell, Mitchell Events." Her face went white. "Sarah," she whispered. "Hello, Linda." She looked around frantically, like she was trying to decide whether to run or stay. "What are you doing here?" she finally asked. "Working," I said simply. "Victoria hired my company. Does James know?" "I don't know. Does it matter?" She had no answer. Robert appeared next to her, recognized me. His expression hardened. "We should go," he told Linda. "Actually," I said, stopping them, "I wanted to thank you." They both stared at me. "That night at your house, when I overheard you talking about me, it was the worst moment of my life, but it was also the best, because it showed me exactly who you all were, and it gave me the push I needed to walk away from someone who didn't value me." Linda's eyes filled with tears. "Sarah, we were wrong, so wrong. We've regretted it every day since." "I'm sure you have," I said. "But not because you hurt me, because you lost control of James's life, because I didn't play along with your perfect family image." "That's not true." "It is," I interrupted. "And honestly, I don't care anymore. I'm not here for revenge or drama. I'm here because I'm good at my job, because I built a successful business, because I didn't let your opinions define me." I gestured to the room. "Look around. This wedding that you're so proud of. I designed it. Me. The ordinary girl who wasn't good enough for your son. I'm the one who made this day beautiful." Robert looked uncomfortable. Linda was crying. "I hope Victoria knows what she's getting into," I said. "Being part of your family requires being perfect, being worthy, being enough. I hope she's stronger than I was." I walked away. James found me 20 minutes later. "Sarah," he said quietly. I turned around, looked at the man I almost married. "Congratulations," I said. "Victoria seems lovely." "She is," he said, then paused. "But she's not you." I laughed. "James, you told your family you were settling when you were with me, that I was ordinary and boring. Why would you want me back?" "Because I was an idiot," he said. "Because I let my family's opinions matter more than my own feelings. Because I realized too late that ordinary meant real, that stable meant loyal, That reliable meant someone who actually loved me instead of the idea of me. Victoria loves the idea of you, I pointed out. I know, he admitted, but I can't call off another wedding. I can't embarrass her like that. And honestly, I don't deserve you anyway. You're right, I agreed. You don't? He nodded. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not defending you, for not being brave enough to choose you over their approval. You deserve better. I know, I said. That's why I left. He went back to his wedding. I finished my job. When I got home that night, Maya was waiting with champagne. How did it go? She asked. Perfectly, I said. I did my job, I was professional, I was kind, and I walked away knowing I won. You definitely won, Maya agreed. I didn't just win because I'm successful now, I continued. I won because I know my worth, because I refused to be someone's settling choice, because I chose myself. We toasted to that. A year later, my business had tripled in size. I'd been featured in 3 major wedding magazines. I'd moved into a beautiful apartment downtown, and I'd started dating someone new, someone who thought I was extraordinary, who introduced me to his family proudly, who never made me feel like I needed to be anything other than myself. I saw on social media that James and Victoria had a baby. They looked happy in the photos. I hoped they were, genuinely, because I was happy too. Not because I got revenge, not because I proved them wrong, but because I proved to myself that I was always enough. The Harringtons didn't make me ordinary. They just made me realize that ordinary was extraordinary in the right eyes. And I'd found those eyes. Finally. Sometimes the worst thing you can overhear is the truth about how people really see you. But sometimes that truth is exactly what you need to hear to save yourself. I heard the worst, and it set me free. And that's a gift I'll never regret.